Guys, it don't happen. Oh. My people, when I say Walla no dey finish, this is exactly what I mean. Pearl Watts just shook the internet and everybody is talking about it. See guys, if you want to see the full story, subscribe, share and like our videos. Pearl Watts did not wake up that day expecting any drama. In fact, the girl just wanted to have a simple conversation, breathe fresh air, and go home without anybody adding her name to that day's online trouble. But as Nollywood has it, anybody that thinks they are safe should just know that gist is always hiding somewhere waiting to jump out. She was sitting with Deza The Great, just gisting like two normal people who have had a long week. They weren't shouting, they weren't arguing, they weren't even saying anything spectacular. It was just that soft-tone type of gist people do when they trust each other. The kind where you lean in a bit, talk gently, and mind your business. What Pearl didn't know was that someone around had ears sharper than a brand new microphone. You know those people that pretend like they are on their phone but their mind is inside other people's conversation. That was exactly the kind of person standing nearby, pretending to scroll Instagram. At first, Pearl and Deza were talking about work stress. They were laughing about the kind of scripts that come their way, the funny roles they sometimes don't expect, and how some producers will promise the world but deliver something that looks like it came from nursery school drama rehearsals. Then their gist entered the normal Nollywood hustle talk. The kind where you exchange small complaints, talk about how people behave, and sometimes talk about things you don't want spread outside. It was still harmless. Pearl was relaxed, Deza was relaxed, and both of them thought they were in peace. But gist has a way of changing direction like Lagos traffic. Before they knew it, the topic shifted into friendship in the industry. Not calling anybody's name, not shading anybody, just that kind of general talk where you laugh about fake smiles, fake greetings, and people hugging you in public but dragging you in private. Pearl said one thing, just one small line. She said something about how some people pretend too much in Nollywood. She didn't call name, she didn't mention anybody, she didn't describe gender. But that one statement entered the ear of the person listening like breaking news. The eavesdropper held their breath like someone who didn't want to miss a word. You would think they were doing spy work. Their ears stretched like they paid for first-class seat in that gist. And once that one statement entered their brain, the person's mind started editing, adding, expanding, remixing, and seasoning the conversation like stew. Before Pearl even stood up to leave the place, the gist had already transformed into something bigger. The eavesdropper didn't waste time. They ran off with the information like a journalist carrying a big scoop. Pearl didn't know, Deza didn't know. They were just laughing and enjoying themselves. By the time Pearl got into her car, her phone was already buzzing. Messages everywhere. People were asking her, Pearl, is it true? Who were you talking about? What happened? Who offended you? She was confused because she didn't even understand what people were referring to yet. Meanwhile, Deza was living his best life somewhere else, sipping juice and minding his business with the peace of somebody who doesn't know he's trending. He didn't even know his name had entered any gist. The guy was just enjoying his day, smiling up and down like tomorrow wasn't planning drama for him. The funny thing is that fans immediately started dragging different names. Some people said she was referring to actresses. Others said she was referring to actors. Meanwhile, nobody even had full context. People just love connecting dots that don't exist. By evening time, different blogs had different versions of the same story. One particular blogger added enough drama to feed a whole season of series. They said Pearl was frustrated with fake love and she was tired of pretend friendships. Meanwhile, the poor girl wasn't even thinking about all that. She just wanted to buy shawarma and go home. Deza got dragged into the matter when someone sent him the leaked chat. Not the original conversation or just the edited, exaggerated, over-seasoned version. The moment he saw it, his eyes opened wide. His reaction alone became another gist entirely. People swore they heard Pearl call someone's name, but when they shared the audio, the part where the name was supposed to appear was mysteriously missing. The audio was doing static noise, cut and join, and incomplete sentence. Nollywood mystery at its finest. While fans were analyzing the gist like WAC examiners that want to pass students or fail them, Pearl was somewhere looking pretty and minding her business. She wasn't shaken. She wasn't crying. She wasn't even bothered. The girl looked fresh, like someone who didn't know her name was trending. Deza's fans rushed out like loyal soldiers defending their favorite. They started posting about how Deza is peaceful and drama-free. They even said he doesn't have time for boss. But they didn't know that more angles would drop by evening, making everything look more dramatic. Some people who were close to the place where the gist happened said the leak was from someone who just wanted attention. They said the whole conversation wasn't even deep enough to cause wahala. But once someone craving fame gets hold of small matter, they can turn it into a film. Others insisted that whenever Pearl's name enters any gist, people automatically inject drama. They said it's not her fault, it's just that people like adding extra sauce once they see her name trending. They want to make the gist sweeter. Later that day, Pearl posted a cryptic line on her social media. Nothing direct, nothing obvious, just one clean sentence that left fans confused. People were reading meaning into every emoji, every comma, every full stop. Some said she was shading someone. Some said she was playing mind games. Others said she was just posting normally. Deza then posted a selfie, smiling like someone who wasn't trending for gist he didn't cause. People thought he was indirectly addressing the drama, while others thought he genuinely had no idea what was going on. His innocence made the whole thing funnier. Insiders later said that the whole issue wasn't deep at all. They said Pearl and Deza weren't shading anybody, and there was no fight or secret beef involved. But fans had already turned everything into a saga with different episodes. At the end of the day, both Pearl and Deza were privately laughing. They found the whole situation hilarious because half of the leaked gist wasn't even true. They didn't argue, they didn't stress. They just allowed the matter to blow over. What made everything funnier was how blogs were arguing with each other about who Pearl meant, even though nobody heard her call anybody's name. People were quoting her like she said one deep speech, meanwhile she barely said a sentence. Some fans claimed someone saw a facial expression from Pearl and interpreted it as shade. Others said they saw Deza's body language and thought he was agreeing to something deeper. People were analyzing invisible details. Meanwhile, the supposed eavesdropper didn't even get the full conversation. They just had small bits and pieces and used imagination to construct the rest. And because they wanted traffic on their page, they added extra pepper to the gist. Pearl's DMs were filled with people asking her to name the person she was referring to. Some even begged her to just say it with your chest, not knowing she wasn't referring to anybody specifically. Human beings love drama more than food. Deza also started getting messages from fans asking him to clear the air like he was inside the drama from the beginning. The poor guy was responding with confusion because he didn't understand how their simple private conversation turned into community gist. People online started pairing Pearl's statement with different actresses and actors. They created imaginary enemies for her overnight. Some people even invented old beef that never existed. By the next day, blogs were still not done. They were posting pictures of Pearl with random actors and actresses, claiming she was shading them. Meanwhile, those people didn't even hear anything about the drama. Pearl later came online again and posted a regular video of herself laughing. No explanation. No apology. No clarification. She just laughed like someone who had front row seat to the boss happening without her effort. Deza also posted a funny meme that made everything look like a joke. Fans didn't know whether he was mocking the bloggers or mocking the entire situation. But the meme made everything more chaotic. Eventually, people started coming down because more important gist came out. But even after the matter died down, people were still whispering about it, trying to guess the mystery person Pearl was supposedly talking about. What they didn't know was that Pearl wasn't talking about anybody. It was just a general statement that someone took too literally. Even though the gist caused more chaos, it made Pearl and Deza trend for days. Their names were everywhere. Some people felt sorry for them, but others enjoyed the drama because Nollywood always loves one small problem. In the end, the matter died naturally, but one thing was clear, in this industry, even a whisper can turn into breaking news if the wrong ear hears it. And that day, Pearl's whisper entered the wrong ear at the wrong time. But Pearl didn't let it get to her. She moved on like someone who had too much class to respond to nonsense. She focused on her work, her peace, and her glow, leaving the blogs to argue among themselves. Deza, too, didn't stress. He laughed it off and continued his life like nothing happened. At the end of the day, the whole thing just turned into another interesting Nollywood gist that will be forgotten by the next trending scandal. Still, the experience proved one thing: sometimes it's not what you say that causes trouble, it's who is listening. And that day, Pearl and Deza had the wrong listener. And even though the gist wasn't real, the entertainment was overflowing. People talked, people dragged, people guessed, people argued. But Pearl and Deza, they were somewhere smiling, because they knew the truth was far less dramatic than the story. Yet, the moment reminded everyone that gossip doesn't need facts to survive. It only needs one small spark and the internet will do the rest. Even after everything settled, some people still held on to their own versions of the story. But Pearl didn't bother correcting anybody. She just kept being herself, and Deza kept being his peaceful self. And just like that, a simple conversation became a blockbuster gist. But that's Nollywood for you. Anything can turn into a story if the right person hears the wrong thing. Peace out, subscribe and share.